90%. Detach.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies that unexpectedly made you ugly cry.
Next time, we should invite Leslie to go. She'd like that.
For this list, we'll be looking at times where films that we didn't expect to make us emotional ended up leaving us in tears. Since we'll be talking about dramatic events, a spoiler alert is in effect. Which movie surprised you with a heavy dose of the feels? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Legends of the Fall. Legends of the Fall is an epic western that starts out establishing the bond between brothers Tristan, Samuel and Alfred.
Samuel was the youngest. There was nothing these brothers would not do for him. They watched over him like a treasure.
This dynamic is interrupted permanently when all three fall for a woman named Susanna.
So this is Tristan. And does he speak English?
Tristan, for God's sake.
The constant heartbreak between the characters is conflicted further with the backdrop of the Great War that claims Samuel's life. In the aftermath of that tragedy, Alfred and Tristan's fight over Susanna ends up destroying any chances of people walking away happy. As we follow their journeys from start to finish, we're reminded of how close the family once were and how far they've fallen since. What seemed like another action-packed western surprisingly took us on a very sad journey.
You followed none of them. And they all loved you more.
Number 9, I Am Legend. It's always difficult to watch an animal perish on screen, but it's even more painful when they're the only friend the protagonist has.
Here you go, just the way you like it. Disgusting. Excuse me.
In I Am Legend, protagonist Robert Neville is seemingly the only human survivor in Manhattan in a city full of mutated people. He gets through the lows of his isolation with his loyal dog, Sam.
Oh, that feels good.
Sam.
So the audience knew they were in for a real tearjerker when Robert's loyal dog, Sam, is infected. With no other options, the seemingly last human survivor is forced to put Sam down. This act shatters Robert's heart into pieces. We definitely weren't anticipating a movie advertised as an action-centric zombie-like story to get so emotional.
Please say hello to me. Please say hello to me.
Yet, Sam and Robert's story still hurts us today. Number 8, Dead Poets Society. In Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams' character, John Keating, inspires the students of Welton Academy to pursue their own desires.
Now, my class, you will learn to think for yourselves again. You will learn to savor words and language. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
The members of the unsanctioned group take to Keating's guidance and begin to defy their domineering teachers and parents. However, this tale has far from an uplifting ending. Keating is ultimately blamed for the death of a student who takes his own life because of his controlling father.
He didn't put us up to anything. Then Neil loved acting.
Believe what you want, but I say let Keating fry. I mean, why ruin our lives?
This injustice comes out of nowhere, and Keating is devastated to be fired from his job.
They made everybody
Quiet,
sign
Mr.
it.
Anderson.
You gotta believe me, it's true.
I do believe you, Tom.
Leave, Mr. Keating.
But it wasn't his fault.
Sit down, Mr. Anderson. One more outburst from you or anyone else, and you're out of this school.
The remaining students give him a final tribute, but their future is bleak because the one person who believed in them is now gone.
Captain, my captain.
Sit down, Mr. Anderson. You hear me? Sit down.
Unlike most Robin Williams movies, this one doesn't end with a lot of laughter. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy. This superhero film was heavily marketed as a comedy in all the previews. So not many audience members were expecting to get a heart-wrenching scene right out of the gate.
You're so like your daddy. You even look like him. And he was an angel.
The movie opens with a young Peter Quill spending time with his mother in her last moments.
Take my hand.
Although he grows up to become the wisecracking Star-Lord, the opening scene shows that he uses humour to push down the grief of his mother's loss. Guardians of the Galaxy fools viewers into a false sense of security again with a hilarious story of the group's team-up, before one of their members makes the ultimate sacrifice.
We are Groot.
With just 3 words, Guardian Groot ushers in another moment for fans to cry their heart out. Number 6. Arrival. During this science fiction drama, linguist Louise Banks is enlisted to communicate with aliens who arrive for an unknown purpose. We're initially led to believe that Louise is a depressed mother who's lost her daughter.
Come back to me. You come back to me.
For many viewers, this scene itself serves as an unexpectedly sad introduction because it's such a low point to start with.
Memory is a strange thing. It doesn't work like I thought it did. We are so bound by time, by its order.
However, the true emotional gut punch arrives at the end. It turns out that all the interactions we've seen between Louise and her daughter are flash forwards to the future.
If you could see your whole life from start to finish, would you change things?
Her encounter with aliens let her learn that she is fated to mourn the loss of her child. Sadly, Louise herself sets the audience up for an unbearable gut punch that no one was ready for.
Yes. Yeah.
Number 5. Click. Giving Adam Sandler a remote that can skip time sounds like a setup for a quirky film, right? Well, not exactly. Sandler's character Michael has fun with the universal remote until he starts automatically skipping over important parts of his life.
Don't you want to know
How you do this stupid trick? I've always known. Can you let me do my work?
The laughs screech to a halt when he witnesses the last interaction he had with his father. Because the remote put Michael's emotions on autopilot, he's cold to his dad in their last meeting.
I love you, son. I love you, son.
Things only get more depressing when he fast forwards to the point where he's near death.
Dad! Dad, what are you doing?
Oh my God!
Help!
As he lies in the pouring rain surrounded by an estranged family, he asks his son not to repeat his mistakes.
Family comes first. Family comes first.
Fortunately, the rain hid our tears as we cried over this comedy. Number 4. Toy Story 3. The first Toy Story movies follow the adventures of Andy's sentient toys as they try to be there for the boy throughout his childhood. Toy Story 3 still follows Woody and the rest while revolving around Andy, moving on from the toys now that he's grown up.
But through every yard sale, every spring cleaning, Andy held on to us. He must care about us or we wouldn't be here.
You wait. Andy's gonna tuck us in the attic. It'll be safe and warm.
And we'll all be together.
While there are various moments where the audience is encouraged to laugh, the film's ending is nearly impossible to watch without welling up.
Now, you gotta promise to take good care of these guys. They mean a lot to me.
When Andy decides to hand over his toys to young Bonnie, parting with his favourite toy, Sheriff Woody, seems too difficult.
But the thing that makes Woody special is he'll never give up on you. Ever. He'll be there for you, no matter what.
He eventually hands the toy over while pouring his heart out over the toy's importance to him. To make matters more sad, Woody says a goodbye to Andy that is never heard.
So long, partner.
Number 3, About Time. For the most part, About Time is a feel-good story about Tim Lake's life. He uses his time-traveling powers in search of love and fulfillment.
It would be just great if it could help me get a girlfriend.
Wow. Massive.
Yeah. The mothership.
The film depicts Tim's loving relationship with his father James, his eventual marriage to Mary, and having kids of his own. All's well until James passes away. The mourning protagonist desperately wants more time with his dad, but since travelling back in time to help James would prevent his children's births, Tim has no choice but to say goodbye for good.
This is it. It's my last bit of extra time. The baby is completely on the way.
The father-son duo are understandably distraught and decide to relive a cherished memory from Tim's childhood.
Thanks, Dad.
Although they get one more moment together, the fact that they'll never see each other again makes it incredibly bittersweet. Number 2, Castaway. Castaway is designed for us to feel sorry for protagonist Chuck Noland, who's trapped on an island for 4 years.
Over here! Help me, help! Right here, right here! Help! Come on, look here, look! S! O! S!
But its focus on survival instincts and endurance lulled us into a false sense of security. However, we should have known something was up when Chuck befriends a volleyball and names him Wilson.
Wilson! Never again. You're okay.
Near the climax, Chuck finds a way to escape the island. Everything is going well until Wilson starts to drift away. Since the volleyball was his only friend for so long, Chuck is devastated when they're separated.
I'm sorry, Wilson! Wilson, I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Wilson!
Watching Chuck cry his heart out is devastating. Although Wilson wasn't real, his loss cuts as deep as the loss of a relative.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Bridge to Terabithia. The bulk of Bridge to Terabithia is about Jess and Leslie's growing relationship. During the story, the school outcasts become friends, who visit the fantasy world of Terabithia beyond a creek.
What do they call this place?
Terabithia.
Both characters gradually find happiness in each other's company, and their lives begin to take a positive turn as they lose themselves in the fiction. But all that comes crashing down when Jess finds out that Leslie has died while travelling to the creek alone.
Your friend Leslie is dead. She drowned in a creek this morning. Apparently she tried to swing across on a rope and it broke. They think she hit her head.
After learning about his friend's demise, Jess begins to blame himself. The story essentially ends with him hoping he can move on.
She said if it wasn't for you. Jess, you're the best friend she's ever had. I want to thank you for that.
If you went into this fantasy film without knowing the twist, there's no way to have known this fantasy film would spiral into a grim reality.
I wasn't there to go with her. It's my fault.
No. It's not your fault. None of that makes it so. It's a terrible thing.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.